It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad that Ms. Adams allowed me to come here. And I just want to thank all the teachers and everybody for allowing me to be here as well. So my name is Michael Ashley. And I know you're looking at me like, hey, it's another guy in a suit. Because it seemed like a couple of years ago I was actually sitting, kind of in similar shoes like you all. Somebody would come and speak to me. I'm like, okay, what does this guy know about me? Is there anything in common with me, as far as that guy, as far as us being able to relate? So, I just began to kind of seek people who actually kind of had my same type of background. I really didn't want to hear from somebody who had a suit on, somebody who probably never really had a bad day in their life, somebody probably who they aged their entire life in school, pretty much born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And then I started doing, research when I was a little kid, and even, especially when I got in high school and college. I wanted to find out what is the difference between the people who are successful and the people who are not successful. That's the question, guys. What's the difference between the people who grew up in poverty, the people who grew up poor, and they go off to make, millions of dollars, and they start being wealthy. The females you like listen to Beyonce. Dudes you like listen to Rick Ross or whoever it is. Right? But somebody answer that for me. If I grew up in poverty and I go off to be successful, then somebody else grew up in poverty and when they grow up, they still live on paycheck to paycheck, still struggling. Somebody give me the number one reason why you think that person went to be successful.
Education.
Yes. That's a good point. And that's a whole different speech right there, because I can make an argument that's successful, that education saved my life. I was that student who made bad grades, and I really didn't have a purpose in the why as far as, I don't care about geometry, I don't care about math. Okay, when am I going to need to do anything with a triangle when I get into the real world? But she said, I know, but listen, education is not important. It's not important as far as like what you learn, but education teaches you how to think. So even when you get into the real world and you're doing something that has nothing to do with a triangle or geometry or math or science, you're learning how to think. You're learning how to do critical analysis of anything. So that's a good answer.
Well, basically, the reason why the other person didn't grow up to be successful is because probably the first person mindset was different. Because if your mind is not where your body's going, then you're just going to stay in the same place.
That was smart. People underestimate your mind, how strong your mind is. Right now, wherever you are right now, and in future endeavors, it's the residual income of your past thoughts. Think about that. My mom, she had my first sister when she was 15. She had my second sister when she was 17. So she had my oldest sister on her left knee. She had my middle-aged sister on her right knee while she was doing her homework in high school. And she still graduated on time, but she could easily say, I give up. I have every excuse in the world not to be successful. I have every excuse in the world not to raise my kids like they ought to be raised. I should just give them to my mom and let them do it. She had every excuse, but her mindset said, what? I'm a victor, not a victim. I will do whatever I got to do to maximize my potential. And what's your name?
Okay.
Michaela. My mindset was the difference between me being just another statistic. Guys, I'm from Berkeley County. If you know anything about Berkeley County, it's probably about 5 hours from here, but everybody from there, mostly everybody from there, they're either in jail, they own drugs, they're selling drugs, they're making babies, they're having babies, they're dead. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but I was supposed to be, yes, in North Carolina. I was supposed to be that person. I never forget when I was in college and I went to North Carolina A&T State University, and I went to college. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have an understanding of the real reason why I should go to college. Right? I didn't have a why. So I went to college. First thing I did, I get my book bag, and I'm headed to class in the summertime. And I'm heading to class, and I see people cooking now, and I see girls walking by. Next thing I know, I kind of post up, and I didn't even go to class. I didn't have a why. Only thing I cared about at the time, because I just got finished with high school, only thing I cared about was football and girls. Just keep it real. Y'all something like that. That's all I cared about, football girl, right? So basically, it took a hard time. It took me almost getting kicked out of college for me to say, Mike, you gotta wake up, son. It took my guidance counselor to say, Michael, I do not want you to be a statistic. What are you gonna do? My grades got so bad, I had a 1.9 GPA, and they said, Michael, if you don't get it together, you'll be out of here. And the company you keep is very important. Because I realized that a lot of people that actually hung around, they was getting kicked out of college. So I started thinking, I was like, all the nights when I would come home and I try to turn on the light, and that didn't happen because my parents couldn't afford to pay the light bill. I began to ponder and think some more, like, man, all the times that I went in the refrigerator, it was nothing in there. Maybe some banana sauce or something, I don't know. Right? But I started thinking about all those situations. I was like, you know what? If I want different results, I got to do something different. I got to hang around people who are successful. I got to change my entire mindset. So what I did, I started studying more. I started waking up early. I started staying up later. I started breathing success. So one of the stories I ended up reading, guys, it was about this young girl, and she ended up going to college. She was a daddy's girl, right? And one of the summers when she came back, she was like, Dad, you know what? I'm tired of college. Everything is going wrong. They say you're supposed to gain a freshman 15, but I gained a freshman 45 pounds, and I'm tired of everything, and life is not fair. Dad, I just want to give up. So he's looking at her, and he's like, okay, all right, Dad. So she's like, Dad, I really need your advice right now because stuff is not going right. So and the dad was a chef. So the dad kind of walked towards the kitchen, and she just followed behind him talking. And listen, Dad, I don't know what's going on. I studied for my test, but I made a bad grade. I gave my all. Dad, I don't think the teacher liked me because the teacher gave me a bad grade, but everybody else in the classroom talking, it seemed like she just liked me more. Dad, I don't know what to do. So the whole time, the dad and dad just working everything, and she was looking at him like, what's wrong with this guy? He's supposed to be my father. Like why isn't he paying attention to me? So all of a sudden, in the mix of her talking, he said, baby, excuse me, can you see those 3 pots right there of boiling water? Can you put the potatoes in that pot? Can you put the eggs in the second pot? And can you put the coffee beans in the 3rd pot? So she was like, I'm pouring my heart out to this guy. He told me to put some eggs in a pot. What's going on? So she said, okay, I do it. So she put it in there. She like, Dad, you know what? I really want to be successful, but I don't know what to do. A lot of my classmates seem like they was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so they got an advantage over me. I don't know what to do. So he would just kind of shake his head. He would fill it with sandwich. So 20 minutes went by, 30 minutes went by. Next thing you know, he said, that's like, can you take the potatoes and take it out, and the eggs and take it out, and the coffee and pour the coffee in the cup. So at this time she about to flip. She like, you know what? I need to find Mom. Why am I talking to you dude right now? So as she about to get mad, she about to stomp off, and then thing you know, he said, oh hold on, before you leave, do me a favor, touch the potatoes and tell me what it feel like. And she was like, it's soft. What you mean? Like it was in boiling water, it was soft. He said, okay. He said, okay, break the egg and tell me what it feel like. So she peeled the shell off and she broke it. Then he said, the coffee, taste the coffee, see if it's ready. So she tasted the coffee, and when she tasted, she started smiling. She was like, the richness of the coffee and the aroma got to her, right? So then he said, tell me the difference between each item. And she was like, I don't know. I mean, it's potatoes, eggs, coffee. It did what it's supposed to do. He said, no, you're not paying attention. He said the potatoes went to the boiling water hard. It was hard when it went to the boiling. Every item went to the same type of adversity. Every item went to hot boiling water, but they all reacted differently. The potatoes was hard when it first went to the boiling water, right? But went to the boiling water, it came out soft. The eggs went in, it was fragile, it had like a thin shell to protect the liquid inside of it, but then when it came out, it was hard. But the coffee went in one way, right? And the next thing you know, whatever happened, the same hot water that affected all the other products, it enhanced the coffee. It brought something out of the coffee that you wouldn't think of. It actually made it smell good in the house. It actually tastes good. And guys, if you really want to be successful, if you really want to take your current situation and say, you know what, I can do whatever I want, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, NFL player, basketball player, whatever it is. Guys, if you really want to do it, you got to say, you know what? I have to embrace adversity. Embrace adversity. None of us like hard times. None of us really like when something go wrong in our life. But the moment you say, you know what, I embrace adversity. I understand that hard times is when I will grow the most of my life. Because you don't grow a lot when everything's going good in your life. So guys, I want to give you 3 ways of how you can embrace adversity. The first way is dream big. Now, when I say dream big, I'm not talking, that's not an excuse to go to sleep in class and say, you know what, Mr. Askew said dream big, so that's what we're doing right now. Nah, don't put that on me. But dream big. And guys, the funny thing about life is that whenever you go through life, whenever you go through hard times, nobody really, care or ask you about, what you're going through once you get big. When you think of Beyonce right now, you think about Put a Ring On It, you think of all these songs she's singing, right? But the thing is, though, nobody knows at one point in time, nobody knew Beyonce's name. Beyonce was living in Houston, Texas. She was going around the talent show, trying to get somebody to know her name. Nobody cared who B was. At one point in time, nobody knew who Michael Jordan was. He couldn't make his high school basketball team. Now, how can you be the best, arguably the best ever at what you do, but you can't even make your high school basketball team? Guys, what did he do? Education, and he embraced adversity. He said, you know what? If I gotta shoot 300 shots a day to get better, I do it. I do whatever I got. Listen, Michael Jordan did the same thing I did when I got cut from my football team in 7th grade. I went home. My mom said, "Son, do you make the team?" No, I said, "No." I went in the room, shut the door, and cried. Michael Jordan did the same thing. But in the midst of that crying, guys, after feeling sorry for myself for a couple of hours, I said something sparked inside of me and said, you know what? Your opinion of me does not have to be my reality. I will be successful no matter what you say. So later on, when I got in high school and every Saturday morning I see my picture and I see my name in the newspaper for playing football, it would never have came into life if I did not fail in 7th grade and actually realize that I got greatness inside of me. Dream big, guys. It's your job, if you really want to be successful, to take your current situation, look around. You feel sorry for yourself that you're in a single-parent household. You feel sorry for yourself that it seems like all the other kids got it made. You feel sorry for yourself that every time you go home, there's no food in the house. You feel sorry for yourself that when it come down to holidays like Christmas or what have you, you don't, listen, I've seen times I would get one gift for Christmas. And I would go to my cousin's house and they would have gifts almost spilling out the door. As a kid, how do you handle that? Because you don't care if you, listen, if you know your parents doing the best of their ability, you don't care when you're a child. I was like, listen, you brought me in this world, I should be able to live the good life. I didn't care when I was a child. But listen, the moment I realized that it's all in my mind, if I can internalize, if I can take everything that I'm going through and say, you know what, I will use this as extra motivation to be successful. I went from that guy who would walk around with holes in my shoes to the next thing I know, I was flying around in a private corporate jet because I dreamed big, guys. I never forgot the hard times. I never forgot every time I had to get up and there was no lights. I never forgot that, guys, but I was not bitter. I said, you know what? I would be special. I got greatness inside of me, guys. The moment I stopped feeling sorry for myself and said, I would be great, that's when it happened. The second way, guys, of how you can embrace adversity is to accept the challenge. Accept the challenge. Everybody at some point have to accept the challenge. There's a guy that just went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not sure if y'all heard of him before, but LeBron James. LeBron James used to play for Miami. And if you actually listen to LeBron James, especially when he was going back to Cleveland, he wrote a letter. Because the first time he did it wrong, he went to Miami and he was like, "Nah, we're gonna win not 1, not 2, not 3." But no, this time he said, "You know what? I go back to Cleveland and I'll write a letter this time." But if you actually look at the end of the letter, at the end of it, it said, "I'm ready to accept the challenge. I'm coming home. I'm ready to accept the challenge. I'm coming home." Hold on, I asked for a second. So he said, "You know what? I understand what the situation says. I'm going to Cleveland with a bunch of young people. I don't have a boss on my side no more. I don't have weight on my side no more. I accept the challenge. I would take my game to a whole nother level. Yeah, I know I got 2 championships. Yeah, I know I'm the face of the NBA. Yeah, I know I'm a millionaire. But I accept the challenge. I will do whatever I got to do to bring Cleveland a championship. Guys, you got to listen to me right now. If the best ball player in the world, a millionaire, said, you know what, I accept the challenge, I can be a better person. I can think different to get to where I want to go. If I really want to feed my family, if I really want to, listen, a lot of us, our parents were born poor. A lot of our grandparents were born not having much. Guys, you got the potential right now to say, you know what, if I take my education serious, I can do whatever I got to do so I can end up getting that scholarship and it will take a load off my parents. If I really, really do what I can do, I can create a lifestyle that not only will maximize my potential, that my parents will be able to travel the world, going to exotic places because I did what I had to do. I accepted the challenge. So if the best ball player in the world can say, I accept the challenge, who are you not to say, I accept the challenge? Think about that, guys. Oprah Winfrey. When you think of Oprah, you think of money. That's what I think of, green. Oprah got it. But at one point in time, she had to accept the challenge. Nobody didn't believe in her. Now, I'm not sure if y'all old enough, but you know, a lot of people, they think of Oprah, they think of Color Purple. Nah, but before all of that, they told Oprah, you are not fit for television. They said, you are cosmetically challenged. Now listen, guys, if somebody look at me and said, you know, Michael, we can use your voice, but I don't really want to use your face because I'd rather put somebody on TV. You know, you're not that attractive. If you say I'm not attractive that way, then I'd be like, cool. I mean, I took a loss. But if you try to find a creative way to tell me that I'm ugly, if you say I'm cosmetically challenged, come on now. They told Oprah that she was cosmetically challenged. We don't want you on TV. I would love to see the person face who told her that right now. Oprah is the most influential woman in the world right now. She dreamed big. She accepted the challenge. Whatever it looked like, she said, I accept the challenge. Listen. You never seen anybody on TV that look like me? I'll be the first one. If you really want to listen, what you are to be, you'll now become. It doesn't matter what anybody says about you guys. What you're doing right now, if you want to be that lawyer, whatever you want to do, guys, you have to do something right now. It starts right now, guys. And when I said education changed my life, I seen times when I was making bad grades and I was complaining, and I seen somebody making good grades. I'm like, show off. This dude trying to show off, man. But before I knew it, when I started, you know, putting in work and I started, you know, trying harder, I started getting the A's, I started getting the B's, and I was like, wow, this nice right here. Like, if you mean to tell me if I actually try hard, if I actually go talk to the teacher after class, if I actually put in extra work, if I actually find a study partner, I can actually make better grades, which in turn will allow me to make pretty good money when I'm finished. Sign me up. Sign me up. And the third way, guys, of how you can embrace adversity is to give 120% when nobody's looking. It's easy to do the right things, and it's easy to appear like you're working hard when everybody's looking like, yeah, I'm working hard. You see me? I got this, I'm working hard. But before you know it, you know, when the real measure of a man or a woman, successful person, is what they do when nobody's watching. A lot of times, we all got the same 24 hours in a day, right? Everybody spend it differently. Now it's sad, guys, because instead of us doing something productive, we get to the point where we'd rather do something crazy like do a fire challenge.
Exactly.
We'd rather do a pass out challenge where you hold your breath and you see if you die or not. God, listen. We all have 24 hours in a day to make our dream to become a reality. And if you want to spend your time of the day doing a fire challenge, challenging yourself to see if you can kill yourself, holding your breath challenge. If you want to challenge yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to jump this person right here and I'm going to go put on World Star. You have everything you need. You have everything you need inside of you to be a star in this world, but you would rather go put some foolishness on World Star. I said it again, guys. Don't think I got it. You have everything you need inside of you to be a star in this world, but you would rather go on World Star and look at that. Guys, the challenge is up to you. The teacher can tell you whatever, your parents can tell you whatever. By the end of the day, guys, you have to make up your mind and say, you know what, if I want to be successful, I will do whatever I have to do to get there. I'll try harder. I already tried it my way. I know what it feels like when I don't study. I know what it feels like when I don't listen. So when I was younger, I go ahead and give you a little background on me. When I was younger, growing up in poverty was something that a lot of people kind of knew my situation, right? So a lot of us wear hand-me-down clothes from our big brothers and what have you. But I was the type, I was supported. I wore hand-me-down clothes from my sister. Now I'm gonna go ahead and clear some things up. My sister went through a tomboy stage, so I wore their Levi's, their Filas, stuff like that. Nothing else. But still, I wore hand-me-down clothes from my sister. I told you about walk around the house and not really having the food or not having the lights in the house. But that feeling you have, guys, when you feel like it's you against the world, when you feel like nobody understands your situation, when you feel like whenever you see somebody on TV is successful, you're like, you know what, they lucky. They were made for this. They were meant for this. No, guys, we all have. I can make an argument that the more adversity you go through, you actually have an advantage over the people who seem to have it easy. Prime example. I grew up in hard times, and somebody else grew up. Their parents got a lot of money, right? So when we go to college and eventually when we get a job, and life really punches in the mouth, when hard times really come, they quick to say, "I give up. I can't do this." But every situation I've been through, it prepared me for everything. It prepared me for everything, guys. Now that I'm a father, now that I have an 18-month-old son, now that I'm a husband, and I got to provide for my family, I know goodness with everything I've been through, guys, I would not lose. I would not quit. I don't have no quitting in me. Guys, I got a piece inside of me that surpasses everybody understanding. I got a grind inside me that surpasses everybody understanding. I redefined my grind because I said, you know what? I've been through hard times. I know what it looked like. I know what it feels like to go to bed hungry. So now I know what it look like. Now I know what it feels like. I will do whatever I got to do so my son don't feel that. I will do whatever I got to do so my wife don't feel that. But people who always been successful, people who always went through easy times, people who always just seem like they had it made, when they get older and they face with hard times and they get the bad grades, they want to quit. They don't have that it factor inside of them to say, I will do whatever I got to do to be successful. So guys, I challenge you. I challenge you to embrace adversity. Listen, if you want to hold a grudge, listen, don't hold a grudge, but internalize everything you go through. Say, whenever you want to quit, whenever you want to give up and doing something, think about the hard times you're going through right now. So you know what? This is my why. This is my purpose. This is why I can't give up. Because this situation right here, I want to live a good life. I want to be wealthy. Somebody once told me, guys, somebody said, Michael, if you, by age 30, if you're not a millionaire or if you're not bankrupt, by age 30, you're not trying hard enough. Now, I understood exactly what they were saying. They were basically saying, listen, if you give 120% of whatever you're doing, either you're going to succeed or either you're going to fail. But the thing is, even when you think it's failure, guys, learn from everything. When you understand that you can learn from everything you like, no matter if it's good or bad, that's when stuff begin to happen in your life, guys. Because during the good times, you succeed and you're doing good things, but even during the bad times, you're still getting good out of that. So guys, I challenge you. Keep striving. Keep pushing. Keep doing whatever you're doing, guys. And if it's not good, take it to a whole nother level. Challenge yourself. The conversation you having today, you should have you shouldn't have the same conversation with people next year. You should continue to evolve to a whole nother level.